Now, this is ITM 110, and we have Global Grief and Just Showing Up. Team number 1 is going to be presenting next, and I will be turning the host privileges over to Ramnik, who will now control everything. He has the control. Please confirm that you have the host ability.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I will mute now. Thank you.
I would like to welcome the Board of Directors and all the members. Good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Pradeep Bisest. I am from Breakdown Group 1. We are going to organize a live webinar on the topic of how to cope with the death of loved ones due to COVID-19. Matt Rhodes, who is the Director of Religious Ministry, rightly said that there is no greater loss than the loss of a loved one, and even in the best of time, the grief can feel overwhelming. And death of a loved one is a painful experience. However, death due to COVID-19 is likely to be more difficult for several reasons. The death is surprising, and the families are separated from their hospitalized loved ones due to possible sickness. Families may be unable to grieve and memorialize their loss in ways that are religiously and culturally familiar. It is likely that families and close friends will be depressed, confused, and have many questions. As we move through the pain of grief, it is important to remember that many people find new strengths and capabilities and develop enduring relationship with others. The number of deaths. There are 67 million people affected worldwide in this pandemic, whereas 1.54 million people are died, which is 2.3% of total. According to WHO, most of people affected who are in the age of 25 to 64. If we are talking about the infants, they are just 1.2% affected from January to July 2020. As we can see from the table 2, in New York, there are 7,419 people died who are in the age of 75 plus years old, which is 48.7%. The percentage of children who died is only 0.06%. Nowadays, people follow social distancing. People have difficulty to show their grief to others by visiting them physically. So Group 1 has produced the concept of conducting an online webinar in which a guest speaker will address the audience about the grief coping techniques. Now I'm going to talk about schedule of our webinar. We will conduct this by a Zoom meeting. It will be held on 31st of December 2020 at 10:30 a.m. In this webinar, we have a welcome speech for guests. Then we will allocate 1 hour to him in order to listen his point of view. Then question answer session, and in the last, a vote of thanks. As we are working in teams, so assigned each task to each team member. After me, Ranisha will discuss about the knowledge area. Then introduction of speaker and coping technique for self-care will be done by Balpreet. Jashanpreet will describe coping technique for others, and in the last, Ramnik will summarize and conclude everything. Next, Ranisha will describe her point of view.
Thank you, Pardeep. Okay, so our concept is that we are going to conduct an online webinar on 31st December 2020, where we are inviting a speaker to talk on several topics. So for that, we have created a work breakdown structure so that we will be sure about the scope of the project and to recognize the primary product deliverables. First of all, we have created a organizing committee of 5 members. Each of us are the member of those committee. We have created this committee to organize and plan different processes in the project so that everything goes smoothly on 31st December 2020. After that, we have decided the speaker who is going to talk on the topic of coping techniques for the grief of the death of loved ones, which will be covered by Balpreet. After that, we have marketing and registration. In marketing, we have come up with an idea of creating a flyer with the necessary information about the topic of the meeting and the detail of the speaker and the registration link so that interested participants can register through this link. And we have selected our marketing. Sorry, Ramni, could you please go back to the other slide? Thank you. So we have selected social media as our marketing platform because we believe that is the best tool to connect with people globally. In registration, we have come up with an idea of creating a register form using Google Form. And we will be linking that with the banking so that the participant can register and pay a fee. Coming to the project schedule management, we have the scheduling in our project. For scheduling in our project, we have we have broken the project deliverables into manageable and small tasks, and we have come up with the order of this task, taking into consideration the priority and keeping the duration in mind. We have come up with a planned start date and end date for that. Also, we have allocated resources considering their previous experiences. So here we have in this chart we have different tasks which has to be done before 31st December 2020 so that we will be able to conduct this webinar. And here I have listed all the tasks which was earlier described in the World WBS, and I have come up with a planned start date and end date for the same. And also I have allocated our team for particular task. For project cost management, as we are conducting this online, so I believe that this can be done with a minimal cost. The only cost we have is ornamental for the guest speaker, which is around $200. We plan on covering this cost by the registration fee from the participants. Now I would hand it over to the Balpreet to talk about our guest speaker.
Hello, it's Balpreet. Now I will talk about the speaker part. As we have decided our project to be a webinar, so according to that, we have decided our speaker to be a psychiatrist, and we have decided it to be a Dr. Ajal Bhagat, who is a well-known doctor in India, and he has 30-year experience in this field. We have also decided on the topics that he will speak, and these are COVID-19 pandemic and importance of grief during the pandemic, and how to reduce the grief by taking some self-care tips. Before moving on to the coping techniques for self-care, I would like to talk about self, but self-care mean. Self-care is an activity that can be performed by us to take care of our physical as well as mental health. And for those, we can take different ways, like acknowledge your loss and feelings, understand and accept what you have lost, and find different ways you can express your feelings. Like everyone is not same, everyone have their different ways to express their feelings. Like some people like to write their feelings in a book, notebook, and some people like to write songs to express their feelings. And next, we can create memories and rituals. As we all know, this COVID pandemic has changed the rituals were performed in the past and how they're being performed at the time now. So we are not able to hold large gatherings and share our stories of the deceased one. So we can create our own way, like we can create a picture book, a virtual picture book that we can share with our other relatives also to help with the grief. Next point is ask for help from others. Like we all know, living only is not always good for coping with grief. Sometimes we can also approach our family members and relatives for the help. And if that's not helpful, we can also call for a consultation from mental health services. Apart from that, we can take part in activities. We can think of the activities that the deceased one like to enjoy, like donating money and planting trees. And we can do the same things in the remembrance of that person. Dominic, can you please move to the next slide? Stay away from stay away from the news of COVID-19. As it's not undeniable that news connect us with the world, that what's happening in the world right now. But at this time, when you have lost someone precious to you, then listening to these news can bring discomfort and stress to you. So it will be helpful to disconnect yourself from such news for helping your mental health. For the next point, don't let anyone tell you how to feel. Here, I would like to say that listen to your inner self, that how you feel. Don't listen to other people, that how you should react and what should you do during this time. And if you feel like crying, so do cry. Like, but in some cultures there are some feelings that people should not cry, especially boys, because it make them seem weak. But it is not true. If express what are you feeling, even with the way of crying. Next and the last point is look after your physical health, because if one is physically strong, then it is helpful to maintain your mental health. For maintaining your physical health, you can take part in different activities like doing yoga and doing different exercises that can maintain your physical health, and then can help your mental health also. Thank you. I would like to ask Jushin to continue for the PPT.
Ma'am, actually your mic is off.
Am I audible to you? You listening to me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jashan. If you will speak up, then we'll get a confirmation from Ramnik if he can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Jashan Bitcoin. I'm going to explain coping techniques. As everybody knows, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way the world reacts. With these changes, some of us experience a wave of losses like economic loss, social, and death of our loved ones. I'm here going to explain coping technique with the death of loved ones, as my first point is connecting to other people, as we can invite people or host a conference call with family members and friends to remain connected. And moreover, we can ask family and friends to share stories and photos. I mean, share stories. Coordinate a time and date for family and friends to remember our loved ones by reciting a chosen poem, and we can say spiritual reading or prayer in their own homes. Moreover, we can construct memories, routines like create a virtual memory book or a website to remember your loved one, and invite your family and friends to contribute their memories and stories. Instead of this, we can take part in activities. We can involve in the same work which was important to the loved one who died now. For example, he loved to do gardening. We can do same work to remember him. Moreover, that point on my next slide, seek grief counseling. We have to go for this grief counselor, as grief counselors know how to sympathetic and useful, and they fully respect feelings and help people come to terms with what has happened. And we can also seek spiritual guidance from faith-based groups. Religious leaders, as a spiritual leader told us, death is one day inevitable. Death is certain. Everyone has to die one day. No one can escape from it. We have to accept the reality. I think these type of words can console them spiritually. And next is seek the help for other trusted communities, like the people who around them. People always love to hear them. And then my last step is avoid stigma, as I want to say that the family and close friends of a person who died of COVID-19 could experience stigma. Stigma is a problem. Stigma involves negative attitude, or we can say discrimination against someone. As like these days, there is a COVID-19. If someone is sneezing, we saw them see the person with a scary eyes, and it is a stigma. So we should avoid stigma like this COVID-19 pandemic, such as social avoidance or rejection. So this was my last point.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everything moved just fine with the slides too, Jashan. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Please stay on the line, and
Yes.
your group will finish off. Ramnik will finish off with the summary.
So at last, I would like to conclude this particular topic, as my team members have already tell which we want to address the persons. So in conclusion, basically any kind of some little sport in any problem, it may be some pandemic, it may be some unfortunate situation, it may be some climate problem. So any kind of that sport that can change lives of the person, it can give some new life purpose of the people. So we just show up and we give hands to people. So apart from that, this pandemic situation have created problems for the loved one, because they were unable to say properly goodbye to their loved ones who were passed away, because they were unable to perform the cremations according to the rituals and their traditions. So that was a very distress thing, according to me. So for this kind of situation, we have planned to organize some expert lecture, so that a person who has experienced about these areas, that how to cope up with these kind of situation, so that they can aware persons and aware other audience, so that in future they can help people, they can save the lives of the other people, they can give some better life to those people. So this are basically a concept of this presentation. So for being a project manager, we have also added some points in this, which are discussed by Pardeep and Ranisha. So it is important to identify and distribute every small task to our team members, because when we are working as a team, so it is imperative to distribute it so that it can be accomplished within a deadline. And apart from that, the proper planning and scheduling of each task is also necessary, because if there is no planning and there is no scheduling, so then it's difficult to run event according to the distributed time or according to the scheduled time. And apart from that, for any event, budgeting is very important. For a proper success of the event, so it is also imperative to plan budget priorly. So these all which we have done this particular presentation. So all persons have given their support and given their done their work within a deadline. So I thank you all of this, and thank you, directors. And if you have any questions, then you can ask. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And it worked out so well bringing Jashanpreet in as well. So I'm so glad that this is working. Yvonne, I'm turning it over to you first again.
So first of all, I have to say, wow, my heart was smiling the whole time that you chose the topic that the world avoids. And I'm just so proud of you, because my greatest goal in having conversations about grief, death, and dying is social change, creating cultural change, especially with our young people, our youth. And so I am extremely proud of you for choosing this topic. And even when you started with that statistic, that is such, even for me, this is my life's work. And yet when you share that statistic of 67 million people affected, right? There's these many deaths and there's that ripple, and we are all societies that are very ill prepared to navigate through grief, death, and dying. And so that's a very huge eye opener. And it's so important. And you didn't miss the fact that coping skills for self-care before everything else is critical. And so I'm just in awe of what you did. My question to you is that I know that there are many cultures where men don't cry, men shouldn't cry, that's very weak. Is your culture one of those cultures? Remni, can you answer that? I don't know.
Ma'am, actually, as you have already maybe listened somewhere, that Punjabis are very strong and they have a very strong mind, and they are very hard-feeling people from inner. So I think people have handled this situation very carefully and mentally prepared. They were already prepared mentally. So they helped people. So whenever there was some requirement, without any fear, so they do this kind of situation.
So if you were upset and you were crying, would that be acceptable?
It may be. It depends on the situation.
Yes. Well, I'm glad, because certainly, I mean, in North America, big boys don't cry, the strong, and really to change that to create that social shift where it's like, yeah, you do, you're human, and to allow your feelings is the most courageous and thing you can do and show strength. And so I thank you for bringing all of this up. And again, you mentioned talking about stigma, that whole stigma, we have to get rid of that whole word, don't we? The stigma. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, let yourself feel without embarrassment or judgment. All of everything that you've done here, do you see that this will help you throughout your life? Even what you've shared with me is helpful to me and anyone you share this with. So I have to let all of this just simmer for a while. I'll be sending your teacher an email, because there's just so much in your presentations, but it was extraordinary, and I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yes. I do have a question, but I would like to see if anyone from the floor, any of your other colleagues in this program, have questions first. Please unmute your microphone, say your name, and proceed with your question. And then whoever feels most qualified from the group to respond to that question may respond. Any questions or comments? Bonus marks.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, who's speaking?
Jesslyn here.
Okay, Jesslyn has a question.
It's not a question, ma'am. It's a comment.
Okay.
Because the work breakdown structure she had prepared, it was well done. Because that event she had explained, right? The going to conduct on 31st December.
You're muted, Karen.
Yes, sorry about that. Sorry, Jesslyn. Can you please repeat that? I don't know whether your mouth was a little too close to your microphone. It was kind of hard to understand.
Now?
Try again.
Am I audible now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Ma'am, that work breakdown structure she had prepared, Ronisha had prepared and explained, right?
Yes.
It was well done, and we get to know all the details about the structure as well as the event.
Yes, yes, that was very well done. I commented on that in my notes as well, because what she did is took the concept of work breakdown structure from the course concept and put it into a diagrammatic visual so that we could see it. And then as she explained it, it became very clear who was responsible for which tasks, etc., and how it flowed. So again, thank you for that work.
Ma'am, it was short and concise, and it was also giving us an idea that how much it would be costing. Moreover, Ramnik ended it well by telling that, giving us the overview of whole of the project, as he told that how we can stand up for each other in this grave situation and overcome the situation.
That's right, Jamin. Yeah. Yeah. Good information there for all of us. I think you've probably come up with a very good structure of a product that can actually transpire. From a cultural perspective, I was kind of curious. Again, anyone can respond to this, but you had recommended a psychiatrist as a speaker, as a guest speaker. Can you tell me a little bit about your cultures? And I realize and respect you have different cultures within India as well, and family traditions. How readily or how comfortably do people feel about seeking psychiatric or a psychologist or, going to a counselor, that idea. Is that something that is comfortable and easy to do, or is it a major challenge to go to to do that?
No, ma'am, it's a major challenge in India because people feel embarrassed at times to visit a psychiatrist because they are always criticized by the society, and they have felt they feel embarrassed because they are not given that much importance in their family and society. So the frustration level of the person increases, and ultimately he or she requires a psychiatrist to overcome his or her mental state.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think that's definitely a challenge in a lot of cultures. Another stigma
Yeah.
about seeking support and help.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to add, myself Ronisha Joseph, I would like to add that yeah, it is a stigma in our culture to seek psychiatrist help, but I believe there is change happening. To be sure that if old generation people, if we say to them that this is a depression and you get psychiatrist help, they will say that I'm not mad, you look after your business. But change is happening. Newer generation, they are ready to accept that mental illness is not something bad. It can be spoken freely. Even there are many Facebook groups where people talk freely about their mental health. So I believe that now change is happening. In newer generation, people are more going to mental services. It's no more a stigma that if you go to seek mental help, you are mad. That is what old generation people used to say, but now changes are happening. In fact, I am a member of a group where they used to discuss about postpartum, after pregnancy depression. And I would say that I have not been to a psychiatrist, but that group has helped me a lot. That has in fact, people are talking openly about their conditions, their thinkings, which I believe my mom won't be comfortable discussing it with me even. So and in fact, that group has helped me a lot. That has helped me recognize my mental state, and that even have provided a lot of suggestions on how to overcome that. So I believe that it was a stigma. I believe it is not more. There now people are opening up. Now people are seeking help, not only from professionals but with each other. They are talking about these things. About mental health is now a serious issue.
Yes, Ronisha, I do agree with you. But the thing is, we have a recent incident. We can take the Bollywood incident as Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. Whether the reason was he was suffering from mental illness or he didn't get any support from his friends and colleagues. So that's the thing our society is facing. I do agree with you that it's slowly changing, but the thing is, still we need to do a lot more to overcome this situation.
And Yvonne, can you address that? I'm sure you're just wanting to jump in here.
You know I am. I thank you so much for bringing up and when you say things are changing, you're right. There will be people that continue to fall through the cracks, and because they feel shame, right? And they feel that they should be strong and they shouldn't be reaching out. And so when you speak of someone who died by suicide, which I say rather than commit suicide, because somebody asked, a dad whose son died by suicide asked me to say that instead of committed, so I will always share that. And when this happens, then we can be the evidence that their lives mattered and their lives made a difference by being the change we want to see in the world, by having these conversations, by saying, you know, mental illness is no different than physical illness. We need help. We need our professionals, and we need our village, our family, friends, coworkers, neighbors to be a part. And we just need to listen to each other. And you are young people who can say, we need to do this differently. So Renisha, thank you for sharing and speaking amongst our peers or people that have gone through similar situations, right? This is how we can love and support one another. And when someone does die by suicide, we need to talk about it and say, when you see something, you say something. Let's ask people when they are hurting, looks like you're struggling, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, but I'm here. You are not alone. And your other group talked about saying you are not alone, and we are in this together. So just these topics and having these conversations, you have no idea the ripple effect that this can create. So, I'll stop talking because I'll talk about this all day.
But oh, so true. Oh, so true. Okay, thank you so much. And that, I just want to say one last comment on the mental health piece, is it's regarding anything, any situation of frustration, you know, something didn't go the way you wanted it to go. That's what grief is. So that's bringing back the whole concept of grief. We grieve about things as small as, I don't have my favorite tea today, so I have to have a different kind. You know, I grieved over that for hours. No, I'm kidding. But my point is, it's a little disappointment, right? And when all those little disappointments build up, then we become overwhelmed. And those are the kinds of situations that if we have people to talk to, and how do we find people to talk to? What do people have to do, Yvonne?
Just show up.
That's right.
Just show up. And Karen, do you see this picture they chose? Doesn't that just, really pulls on the heartstrings. Well played on the picture. It really gets you right there.
It does. That's remarkable.
And can I just add one more thing, you see, because people think that grief is over here and mental health is over here. And the thing is that they are so, they correlate. When we are ill prepared for grief and life's challenges, it will either cause or compound mental health issues. So it's all related. So you having these conversations and doing this project and really giving it thought before grief arrives, while you're grieving, and after, can change your lives.
Exactly. Yeah. Super. Okay. Great job again. A lot of good in-depth analysis there. I'm looking forward to reading your written submissions and seeing where you got your references from for both groups so far. And I think this is great. If I'm going to stop the share.
Teacher, can we take a 2-minute break? I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, you may. And I just need to be the host. Okay, thank you. So I can